off air currently.
Good afternoon and welcome to episode 3 of the Comic Relievers with an episode title that needs some discussion here. Episode 3 is going to be called Zach's Married Because He Is and None of Us Knew. So that's going to need some explaining. Definitely. I believe you're going to have some explaining to do after the episode as well.
Yeah, I have no idea why this is such a big deal, but apparently these guys did know I was married, and now they are surprised to find out. And
you say apparently like it was something that we should have known, like assuming coming into this whole thing that you were married. I mean, it's kind of a big thing. Then again, it didn't really come up in conversation. You didn't introduce yourself, like you said, off the air.
Yeah, like in AA meetings, like, hi guys, I'm Zach. I've been single free for a year and a half now.
Zach, talk to me about the pictures behind you.
Yeah, what do you got up there?
The pictures behind me. So the one on top is is Alex Bregman's monstrous walk-off. What was that, 2 nights ago maybe?
I believe, yeah.
As you can see, the ball is about 10 feet up the line. And a guy scored from second to win the game. So that's really just, they say hitting is like real estate, just location, location, location.
Wasn't it Hosmer that missed the pop-up?
Yeah. I think so. I like to see it as just a great piece of hitting. I don't know. He put it where the defense wasn't.
Exactly.
You gotta love pitchers, by the way, on plays like these where they just literally like,
it's like, yep, there it is, boys.
Yeah.
Go get it.
Hand up. Hey, somebody handle this. Somebody take care of that.
I work every single pitch. The least you guys can do is catch a pop-up for me.
I used to get yelled at going after a pop-up, so fine, take that one. Make me look good.
My coach in college would like it was here and there. Like if you went after a pop-up and you missed it, it was all on you. Okay? Oh, yeah. But if you didn't go after a pop-up, he was still going to be on you. He was like, oh, you should have been there. Even though it was his ball, you should have been there to catch it. Like, I was
told to get the fuck out of the way, straight up.
I think that's one of the things that comes with the territory of just being the best athlete on the field. It's like you just got really high expectations to get.
It wants you to hurt yourself, You got to take care of the body.
Yep, that's what happens. You got to carry that team. No.
What you got on that, Porter?
Hey, if the ball is in your guys' 30 square feet of dirt right there, it's yours. But
I'll take it. I'll take that one.
Outside of there, I think it's the first baseman, third baseman, whoever.
As a pitcher, I always wanted every fly ball because that's just a put out in the stats. Just give me easy outs, give them to me all day.
I don't blame you for that.
See, the good thing about being a pitcher going after a pop up is if you do miss it, you can blame everybody else.
He called it. He called me off.
You'd be like, oh, I'm a pitcher. I don't have to get that ball.
Yeah, where were you?
Literally blame anybody else on the field, and you can get away with it too.
Yeah, you just turn to whichever defender's close to you and give him this one.
Dude, what are you doing? He can give you the "you called me off," and you'd be like, "Dude, explain that after. Explain that to coach. You let a pitcher call you off for a pop up."
So, Joe, we were going to do a recording a little bit earlier today, and you did not even delete the evidence behind you as to why we pushed it back a little bit.
Yes, it is. It is Breaking Bad for anybody who can't read that. Yes, I did not delete the evidence for why I pushed back the recording. I was hooked. I think anybody can probably agree on that.
I've been there myself.
Yeah. So I am currently 2 episodes away from finishing it off.
Gotta make sure you watch it right.
Yeah, no, it is. Oh yeah. Oh no, we are. It is on the last one.
That's the last one.
Yeah. You're right. It is the last one. Yeah. So I'm interested to see where it takes me because I am so invested in Walter White at this point. I almost feel bad for him, even though he's a drug kingpin and everything else, and he's responsible for a ton of murders. But I have 3 people, I guess, that I can bring up real quick before we start the baseball. 1, his wife, Skylar. Without ruining everything, she's one of the most insufferable human beings on the planet.
Hey, first person who can tweet the ending at Joe gets a free shirt on me.
It's a good thing we don't have many viewers right now. That's good. I don't think I get it. No,
Don't do it.
So
I'll
So
chip
there's-
in on that one, Zach.
so it's who's number 2? Jesse Pinkman, rat bastard.
Oh, come on.
I hate Jesse Pinkman. Okay, Walter might have poisoned that. All right, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to ruin it for anybody else. Unlike you guys, Walter might have done some stuff. I don't think he's deserving. He didn't kill anyone like that. The other person, who was the other? I'm trying to think. I'm going to go with Hank. Hank, I like him. I almost felt bad for him the whole time. Dude was just doing his job. But moving on.
More importantly, I'm going to back Zach on that before we move to baseball, that I am chipping in on that shirt if someone tweets Joe the ending before he watches it.
You guys are really going to do this to me?
I am, yeah.
I heard
I
somebody.
don't know if I can sign off on that. It's too good of a show.
No.
Just
I'm checking right
because
now. All right, we're good.
Just because I would have killed someone if they spoiled that show for me.
That's Joe.
Are tweets coming in?
I've got messages, not tweet. I'm not reading them because I just don't even know what they are.
Not.
Mhm.
Don't even risk
No,
it. Finish the show as soon as we're done.
I remember like 2 years ago, somebody like put online what it was, and I accidentally read the ending, and I wanted to kill them, even though I wasn't watching the show. I was like, you know what? I could have watched that down the road, but luckily I've forgot the exact ending that was there. So I'm hoping that nothing is like brought up in the next 20 minutes. So let's get off Breaking Bad before it drudges up some memories.
Good segue. You've got that pitcher's memory. Ayo. All right. Let's
Yep.
get it.
All right, we're going to start out like we always do. We're just going to go over the standings real quick, talk about the past weekend, talk about where everyone's at. And we'll start off in the AL East. My boys, Sox, they're on an 8-game win streak. They're 8-1. You got Price coming up tomorrow against Sale coming up tomorrow against the Yankees. It's always a good sign.
He's going to strike out 30.
The only problem, Bogarts is on the DL officially now. He was placed in the 10-day DL. They don't seem to be too worried about it. I don't think I am. I just hope it's not something that lingers on him because of how hot he started out this year. I don't know. What do you think? Is it going to matter?
I think 10-day DL after the first week of the season is probably a pretty good sign.
That's what I was thinking.
They're not going to risk anything crazy.
Get him the rest. So last episode, I wanted to do a segment on Stanton going 0 for 5 with 5 Ks, but I couldn't because he hit a home run the next day. But now I can because he did it again. He did it a second time.
He is on pace for over 300 strikeouts this season.
I want to know what the total is going to get up to between him and Judge. That's going to be, I'd say 400, maybe 5 if it keeps up at this pace.
It's got to be.
I had a minor league coach tell us one time, beginning of the season, right around these days, it was freezing cold every game, and he just came in the locker room. We were doing terrible. We were doing terrible, and he says, "Yeah, I'm just ignoring that." We were playing horrible baseball. He walks in the locker room after a loss, and he says, "Hey guys, these games are about survival." He said, "Hit me up whenever it warms up."
Wow,
You gotta love that. I love when coaches like sports in general, they'll refer to things in like war terms. They'll be like, "Oh, we're in the war room," or "We're going to battle today," or anything like that. You're like, "Come on."
What has the temperature? What's the temperature been in New York? Gotta be terrible, miserable.
Oh yeah, it's brutal.
It's cold.
We just played a set at Dartmouth, and the high was probably 35.
Oh no!
It felt like 27, I think.
Hey, you know the best feeling ever is sitting on the bench for about 2.5 hours, and your coach is being like, "Hey, you got the next inning."
Yeah.
Sick.
We were up in southern Maine, and I fondly remember like our starter got lit up, and I was not supposed to go that day. And dude's like, he's got second and third, nobody out. Coach is like, to the bullpen now. You're throwing. If he walks this guy, you're throwing. And he had the guy like 2 balls, no strikes at the time. I was like, oh. Like you get out there and you just start throwing. It's like 35 degrees, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Absolutely miserable.
Hey, are you hot? No, not for another month.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we had a conference first conference doubleheader at home. I think it was my sophomore season, and I had pitched on a Wednesday prior. The two games were on a Saturday. I was not supposed to be touching either of those games. Nowhere near it. First inning of the first game of two, the starter gets pulled and another bullpen guy doesn't make it out of the first. So the whole bullpen got used in game one. The starter for game two made it, I think, 3 innings, 3 1/3. And I ended up, I think I pitched 2 innings off of about 10 minutes maybe of walking down to the bullpen, stretching, throwing, and getting in. That was probably my last appearance for 2 weeks until my arm came back onto my body.
Go ahead, Coach. Mark me down for sore until the end of the year. Thanks.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks
You
for that.
available today? No. All right. So
as a hitter, do you even go up to the plate with a bat in 30-degree weather? I feel like I'm not risking my thumbs there.
I'm a no batting gloves guy too.
Oh.
So if you cap one,
Sicko.
it is not fun. It is not fun.
As a pitcher, if I could ever locate well enough in those games, I was coming inside, fastball every single pitch.
Every pitch.
No one's swinging.
If you weren't frozen.
Yeah, no one wants that.
There's some silver lining though. If you get one off the hands when it's freezing cold, you can't really even feel your hands after that. So it doesn't really hurt. You just can't feel them. You just can't feel them.
I remember the last season that I was standing at the plate in high school. Like my sophomore freshman year in high school before I just went straight pitcher. First game of the year, it was like 30 degrees out. They got drilled with the first pitch right in the hands. At the time it was like 85, I think. Got it right in the finger. It didn't take my glove off for the rest of the day. It was like thing blew up inside the glove. You just need to keep those on.
Sounds terrible.
Miserable.
Gotta love New England weather for baseball in April.
Only 3 of us know what that's like, though.
That's true. That's
right.
true.
That's right. I'm very thankful that I never had to find out.
Yeah, aren't you?
I'm not a cold weather guy. I never was, especially not for baseball games.
So you definitely don't drink iced coffee when it's cold out.
No. Oh no.
Okay.
That's not me.
All right. So the back to the baseball. Yeah, we got an AL Central division that's really nothing too crazy so far. The Twins are up top with a 4-3 record. Everyone else kind of mixed in there, 4-4, 4-5. The Indians, who were expected to run away with that division, are actually sitting in third. Granted, it's incredibly early, but nothing really in the Central division is looking too hot right now. I thought the Twins would be a lot more exciting to watch than they are right now. As for the West, we are talking about an Astros team with an 8-2 record, who is the actual first team in the official power rankings of this season. I think they'll be atop that list until at least a couple months in, or unless they fall off. I mean, defending champs, got to prove them wrong. I understand that. But
Cole looked incredible.
Yep.
I wanted to talk to you about their entire rotation. They're first in the league in strikeouts right now as a team, and I believe they have a 1.83 team ERA right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So who do you, if you're looking at, their rotation is ridiculous. So if you're going to look at Verlander, Cole, and Keuchel, who are you saying is the 3 out of those 3 guys?
I almost say you got
Outrageous.
to have Keuchel as the 1 because he's been there. But then
But
again,
is he your best?
he's not your best. And if you want to go righty, lefty, righty, I'd say you go Verlander, Keuchel, and then Cole.
That's what I would do.
Their rotation is disgusting.
Does it really matter?
No. It's ridiculous.
Not at all.
So behind the Astros in the power rankings were the Sox, Yankees, Nats, Cubs, D-backs, and Angels. Kind of what they were in the preseason. The only teams that moved up were the D-backs and Angels. I did want to touch a little bit on the D-backs because there was a bench clearing brawl over the weekend. It's always fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yadier Molina, arguably one of the most respected catchers and players in the entire league, kind of blew up. Old Sox bench coach, Torey Lovullo, just chirping him, running his mouth. I guess he called him a motherfucker a couple times, and Yadi made it known.
Yeah, I think I think the real issue from Yachty was the fact that phrase in particular has a different connotation in this in their culture, and so I agree with the fact that he snapped and got angry. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I understand that like the coach may not have known what he was saying, but I feel like he did. But all in all, just a weird situation.
Because fined or suspended, because that's what they're talking about now. They want to fine Lovullo for that. Right,
and for a lot of the, just like normal American fans that are watching baseball, they're not gonna understand, but that's a serious word in their culture.
It's a big difference if you take it literally. And
yeah, it's a huge difference. Like they use that as like a monster insult to each other. So it's just it's an odd situation. It's a really odd scenario to see how that unfolded.
Well, you could see that because Yachty wanted blood, and Lovullo's standing there like this.
Oh yeah, he
want pushed backwards. Yeah.
And he was standing there like, why are you so mad? All I called you was a motherfucker.
Well, that's the thing. It's really that different. He's like, what do you mean? I just called you this.
It's like the jive turkey scene in Semi-Pro. Just called you a cocksucker.
Now, Lou, nobody called anyone here a JT.
He just said you suck cock. That was wild, though. That was wild.
Back to the AL West. I apologize. I got sidetracked with the power rankings list. But right below the Astros are the Angels. And another crazy story to touch on is Shohei, baby.
Oh, yeah.
He's killing it, man. He's got 3 home runs in 3 games. He's hitting .389 with a .421 on base percentage, and he's 2-0 with a 2.08 ERA and 13 innings pitched and 18 strikeouts. And as you know, he took a perfect game into the 7th over the weekend. So this guy's the real deal. I don't know if I'm okay with all the Babe Ruth comparisons, but he's here to stay.
I got a tweet from Pedro here. He said, I think Ohtani could stay consistent in the big leagues if he was to just keep pitching. But to be able to keep up hitting at that level, the power and average is challenging. The workload to be an everyday hitter is too much. So I thought that was interesting.
It's definitely
wise words from a pitcher.
Yeah, it's going to be weird to see what they do because the guy, he's touching 100. It's not like he can't pitch, but he's got 3 home runs in 3 games. I know it's only a good week, but
I think he needs to ride it out as long as he can take it.
Absolutely. I think the Angels are going to let him ride it out. They spent money to let him ride it out. So
I was going to say, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
I read a good question today. They said, if Ohtani grows up in America, do you think he would have been influenced at an earlier age to specialize in one or the other? And which do you think it would have been?
Absolutely. I think with that arm, they'd push pitching, but
definitely pitching.
Yeah, because he throws 100.
Yeah.
I guess that's more elite of a percentage.
But I mean, if he's just focusing on hitting and puts on a few pounds, everyone's always looking for a lefty power bat. So depends how you look at it.
I would
anytime there's a kid who can hit that speed, they're always like, oh, all right, let's get this kid and put on like 50 pounds on him and build him into this incredible pitcher, whether he can hit the strike zone or not. There's always that one kid in high school that's just super fat, and then he hits college and he gets even fatter. Still can't hit the strike zone, but
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously not going to keep up this home run pace. That's unrealistic, but I would like to see him do well on both sides of the ball for a while and just kind of see what can come out of this.
I'm kind of surprised at how frequently they're using him as DH this early. I didn't think he'd be getting in between 2 starts as much as they're paying him. Why not? But
they paid him that much to be a 2-way guy. You might as well get every penny's worth.
That's true.
So how much do you guys think he would have to struggle for them to just say focus on pitching?
He's got to have like 4 or 5 bad starts. Like the show fatigue, not just he gets shelled. Like
Yeah,
he has
that's
to
what
show
I'm thinking.
fatigue, and if it came to it, it would be the pitching that would suffer because
Once you lose your legs, you got nothing.
Yeah, he's not going. If you see him getting shoved in the 3rd or 4th inning, like 2 games out of 4, I think that's when you begin to say, okay, maybe he needs a little bit of rest from one or the other for a little bit. But even this early in the season, I wouldn't be that worried. It's at the end of the season where you might see them say,
So
okay.
what would you rest him first at, pitcher or hitter? You'd see
I'd
fatigue.
take the bat out of his hands.
Yeah, I would too.
I take the bat out of his hands because with pitching, you're seeing him go once, every 5 days, is it?
Yeah.
So that's time to rest in between. Think about it. If he sits one start off, he's now got 10 games or 10 days, let's say, between them. So
Also, what I would try to do if I were the Angels, I would start looking into a way to just if I wanted to rest him, I would look into a way to just get Trout to just swing in his place in the lineup again. You know what I mean? See if we can double up that.
They could
Just not tell anyone. Yeah.
just put his jersey on and
just
pop
change
up
his
in
jersey.
what is Trout, like 4 shoulder sizes bigger? Like,
potentially.
Yeah, Trout's built like an hourglass. Like, just
He's a monster.
it is big dude.
Speaking of, that video was really cool. This was a few days ago, but the one where he's like talking to the bat boy, the little kid in the dugout. And he signs a baseball for him. The kid's reaction, he's like just over the moon. He's so ecstatic.
He gives him a bat on the way out.
Trout walks over and gives him one of his bats. It's incredible, man.
Guy on and off the field, he's a stud.
Also,
plain and simple.
We don't know that he gave him his own bat, though.
No, we don't.
He may have just grabbed a random bat.
He probably, never know.
Dude goes out to hit tonight, and he's like,
"Fuck is this?
Where's my bat?
Freaking bat boy stole my bat."
He's selling those things on the side.
All right, so I want to hop down to the NL East here. The actual team that I wanted to talk about was the Mets. They're on a 5-game win streak where the Nationals, who were expected to run away with that division, are on a 5-game losing streak. Granted, Bryce Harper's leading the league with 6 home runs right now, but kind of surprised. The Mets finally their rotation has made it through healthy, 1 full rotation. So I don't know if that's going to last, but the Mets, they're not looking like a joke of a team if they can stay healthy.
Yeah, you think that's going to happen?
No, but it's cool to see it happen. Been waiting years.
They have a phenomenal pitching rotation.
It's retarded. It doesn't even make sense.
It's just one of the things that if their pitching rotation stays healthy, they're a World Series contender.
Automatic. But if they're not healthy, they don't have like a not even close to strong enough of a bat in order to carry them.
Yeah, you don't need anybody hitting if you have that pitching rotation.
That's such an easy thing that we can say about everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, all you need is Syndergaard to hit a home run. That's it, and the game's over.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of pitches hitting there, that brings me to the Central Division anyways. We got Jameson Taillon. He threw a complete game shutout, 1-hitter, and actually drove in the first run for the Pirates in a 5-0 win. And that is yet another example of why staffletes are the best athletes on a team. Just had to make sure we got that in with Ben Porter here.
Yeah, take that one up, man.
Yeah, I can't say much to that one. He's been. Have you see those cut changes he's throwing?
Yeah,
they curve twice.
It's not fair.
Yeah,
I cut first, change second.
Yeah.
Take your pick.
Watch a slow mo. It really looks like it does that. I don't understand it at all.
So it's kind of like a screwball in backyard baseball.
Yeah, basically
a little bit.
We can't know for certain that he doesn't know how to time travel. You know what I mean? Like if you watch that pitch, it's almost like he just kind of pauses time, runs over and taps it the other direction and goes back. He might just be really good at that. We need to get him on a slow-mo camera.
We got to check the ball he's using. I don't know. Something's going on with that. It's It's crazy.
Did you guys see the Athletics tweet? Speaking of balls and like the Red Sox deflating balls and stuff like that.
I did.
Was
They had
that the
a
most
shot.
pathetic tweet in the history of the MLB?
It was a weak trip.
It was really bad.
You know, a couple. What was it? Just not too much earlier. I was I called out the Rays because like the whole pathetic tweet that they had there. Not the pathetic tweet. The like stanchions that they set up for opening day.
Mhm.
And I called them like I was like, oh, it would be a shame now that the Oakland Athletics can't say Oakland Pathetics just because of that. And not like 2 days later did Oakland tweet this thing out, perfectly exemplifying Oakland Pathetics. It was tremendous. I've never seen anything like it. It worked out beautifully.
Yeah. So the Cubbies in the Central Division got to experience a little bit of a snow day over the weekend. That was pretty cool. They had some fun with it on the field while they were trying to see if they were going to get the game in. Obviously, didn't happen. What do you think? Snow days in April?
Chef, I
That's
don't.
wild.
What game was it where the reliever just like turns and just eats a mouthful of snow between pitches?
That was Fernando Rodney for the Twins.
Love
That's
it.
hilarious.
Love
That was
to
awesome.
see it.
All right, so wrapping it up with the standings check-in here, we're going to go to the NL West, and the D-backs are sitting up top, 7-2, surprisingly. I did expect them to be good, but they're looking hot. The back end of their rotation is showing me a lot more than I thought. Granted, they've only got about 2 starts each, but that would be cool. I mean, the Dodgers usually run away with that division, and they're in 4th place out of 5. So if that division can stay tight all year, San Francisco can find themselves in the mix, and the Rockies stay at the pace they're on, that division has 4 potential contenders. I mean, maybe 2 of them end up in the wild card game, depending on how close the other races are. I don't know. I think that's going to be cool to watch.
Definitely. Add a little bit of drama at the end.
Absolutely. It's always fun. So the Twitter questions for tonight's episode, we got a couple of them. One's from Chris Blackley, and his question was, how impressive has Pointer been early on for the Red Sox despite coming straight to the big club from AAA? Looked it up. He's thrown 5 innings, 1-0 with a 1.80 ERA, and that's in 5 appearances. You know, he's definitely helpful. Always good to have a lefty arm out of the bullpen, but those 5 innings were against Tampa Bay and Miami. I hope he can keep it up because it's always a great weapon to have in the bullpen. But, we'll see. We'll see. Definitely doesn't look bad. What do you think?
I kind of have a side note on it. Speaking of Miami, do you think they finished this year with the lowest record in baseball?
I want to say no. I feel like everyone expects them to, but I don't think they will.
Phillies.
Phillies?
You're bugging. The Phillies is one thing I wanted to talk to you about. They won a game 20-1.
Against Miami?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they ain't going to finish last.
The Reds are pretty bad.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. We'll see. The Reds are still 2-6, bud.
Can't count them out, I guess.
Can't count them out.
Zach's got that personal attachment to wanting the Reds to win, so.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
So we'll go to the next Twitter question. It's from Steve Thompson. He wants to know if we are concerned with the Red Sox bullpen. So I guess it's kind of a continuation of the last question, just more in a broader aspect. So I have written down here that Joe Kelly's thrown 3 1/3 innings with a 10.8 ERA. Carson Smith, 3.2 with a 9.82 ERA. And the only positive sign that I've seen from the Red Sox bullpen is that Craig Kimbrell still knows how to make us nervous and save a game, and that this Hector Velasquez kid can win a game on the hill, starting a game, and can go out there and throw a couple innings when you need to shut down innings. So I don't really know what my answer is for the Sox pen. There's a lot of questions right now. This Carson Smith dude was supposed to be supposed to be lights out, and the sinker's not sinking, and I don't know. We'll see.
That's a problem. When your sinker doesn't sink, it becomes a slower fastball.
I'm definitely upset with how they didn't really address the bullpen much at all this offseason. I know they were expecting Thornburg and Smith to come back healthy, but nothing's happened just yet.
Heath Hembry has been a dude out of the bullpen.
He is gas, and he always has a chew in, and he is a horse.
Dude, he's been throwing some like 90-mile-an-hour sliders on the black. It's just disgusting stuff.
He
out
just
of him.
every time he pitches, whether he's giving up bombs or sitting people down, he fires every pitch he throws. So the last question here from Twitter was, with a relatively low number of signings this past offseason, do you think that was a warning shot to Bryce Harper from owners saying to kind of cut down what he expects to get for his new contract?
Who were the bigger names this year? Can you recall any? I'm having a hard
All of
time.
them?
Martinez, Hosmer.
Hosmer.
I mean, I don't think either of those two players really compare to Bryce Harper.
Hold on. You're talking about this upcoming?
No, this past.
No, the past.
Oh.
Because Machado's coming up, we know that. But
Yeah. So the question is, with the lower like price values, do you think that's what they're saying? Do you think it's a sign for Bryce getting less next year or whenever he?
I think this is Harrison Lee asking us. He's asking. I'm pretty sure he's trying to say is this offseason the owners kind of held off and waited for the players to come to them and kind of didn't really rush into making any big deals. Do you think that was a sign of what's to come when you got Hopper and Manny Machado coming around next year?
I can see that. I can see that as a sign of what's to come for a lot of players.
Yeah.
I don't know if you. I don't think you hold Harper to the same standard, if that makes sense. Like, think about how many NBA teams would just dump out their rosters for LeBron.
Right.
It's just like the current standing in the league for most players doesn't necessarily apply to the absolute top tier.
It's tough too because Stanton got big money, but he was also that's the Marlins deal. That's not, he was traded. So you see like JD Martinez and Hosmer got these big deals, but I mean, I don't think I'm pretty sure Scott Boras wanted much more than he got, and the kind of owners holding out, I think, was what influenced that price drop. And not to say that it's not a smart move, but I kind of don't like the owners holding out because, I mean, the bidding on these players is what the game's become.
Boris originally.
Real quick.
Yeah.
After you're done talking, I'm gonna go through the top 3 bats in next year's draft. Free agency, and we'll be able to real quick put them out who you think set in the price range.
Right.
We'll go from there. But go ahead. What were you saying?
Perfect.
Yeah, Boris originally wanted like $200 million for 7 years for JD Martinez, and the Red Sox basically cut that in half.
Yeah,
and he wanted 8 years, around the same $200 million for Hosmer, and they got him for 140, 144.
And I mean, Hosmer's consistent, but he's not. I don't want to say he's not a superstar. He's not a superstar.
He's coming off a career year too. It's not like he's been doing.
He's just a guy that'll hit around 300 and help a team.
Zach, what you got there?
Who are we talking about?
The gold glove guy? Yeah.
I like Hosmer. Really do. It's just a coincidence.
Just so happens. All right, Joe, hit us with the names.
All right, so the names of the top 3 bats in the next year's free agency are Josh Donaldson, Manny Machado, and Bryce Harper. I can't, off the top of my head, tell you, when is Chris Bryant become available?
Check that real quick.
I don't know.
Got to be in a couple of years, but
man, those are 3 huge bats.
Yeah.
That's
just the bats. That's not counting the.
Chris Bryant is 2022.
2022. Wow. Okay.
He's got a while.
So the cool thing I think about that is Donaldson and Machado. I know Machado's going to play short this year, but they both play the same position. So I feel like whoever gets the first deal of the two, the other one's going to just try and beat out. So, I mean, I don't know what Donaldson's going to want. I don't know if he's going to want a 3-year type deal, a 7-year type deal.
Donaldson, I would say, is closer to being over the hump than the other two.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough.
I still think he's the man, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He'll be hitting for a while. I don't know how long he'll play third base, but he'll be hitting for a while.
Even off the field, though, I just think he's just the man. Like his interviews and stuff. I think he's hilarious.
Machado's only 25, too.
Yes, that's the other thing. So here's my question then.
He'll go
Is
for a
Hopper
lot more
gonna get
than.
5? Is that what it's going to come down to?
Is he going to get 5?
Yeah.
I like to say 5, but I think it's an exaggeration. I think he'll get 400.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think 400 is closer to Machado. Maybe between 375, 400 for Machado. I mean, I might even say lower. I might say 350 to 375. Let's say the other guy. I know what he wants, but
Yeah.
It'll be interesting, though, because if there's an off season like we had with this one, the prices could just get chopped down, you know?
That's what I'm at. I mean, that brings us back to the last Twitter question. That's what I was kind of asking.
That's got to happen. But you got to think, what happens now? Let's say he signs for the 500. So let's round it up. Say 2 years from now, what do you sign Bryant for? How about Trout when his contract's up?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't think it'll get to 500. I mean, what's the biggest one we've seen so far? Stanton with like 330. I know that number's a little off, but something around there. I don't think he's gonna do that much more than the biggest contract ever.
It's just not worth it. If you want to think about it basically down to what you're getting, it's not worth paying that much money for somebody.
And there's just no way to possibly do it.
How can you afford it?
No.
Like how are you going to set up your roster?
And think about what Boris will have to ask for that too. What, 675 for a 500?
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
It's ridiculous.
I want to double the largest contract ever. That's where he has to start his negotiation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think what it's going to boil down to is with all the holding out and everything, I think Hopper will get close to 400, but with incentives and all those extra bonuses, that'll bring it up to maybe close to 5. But if we see a contract guaranteed 500 mil, it's going to change every offseason from now on.
Well, yeah, because he'll only be the highest paid player for a year until like
next year.
Bryant and then Trout, and because Trout, I'm pretty sure that anybody with half a brain would say you'd take Mike Trout over Bryce Harper. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
I think he's your safer pick. Yeah,
he does more.
Well, who makes the club more money though?
Well, what I'm saying is safer in terms of like from the franchise's point of view of like you've got a guy that for a fact will appeal to every single fan. Whereas Harper can come across as like a polarizing character sometimes. True.
I'd say too, if you think about it in terms of value to the team alone, you take Hopper away from the Nationals, that pitching staff will still win them some games, but you take Trout out of LA and they kind of don't have too much. Not to say they'd be nothing, but
I just think Trout's a better player. Like when it comes down to basic baseball, Trout's the better player, and it's not even close because who you taking defensively? If I say Mike Trout or Bryce Harper,
Mike Trout.
Yeah.
If you got to put a guy on base that needs to score a run if you're putting somebody on second base, let's say on a single,
Mike Trout. Yeah.
Mike Trout. Okay. You need a base hit when it counts the most. Who are you taking?
That's where I take Hopper.
Really?
Yeah.
Base hit or bomb?
A base hit. I'm not talking bombs. I'm talking base hit. You got a guy standing on second.
Trout, fine.
Trout. Yeah.
Yeah.
What comes more often, base hits or home runs?
Well, he's leading the league, so you tell me.
What? I'm talking base hits or home runs. What are you more likely to get out of a guy?
When you need it, he's crunch time, baby. He's all about the bomb.
I give you he's doing more of that. Or actually, what were their home run numbers from the last couple of years?
I couldn't tell you. He's never been like a crazy amount, but he's definitely gotten up there. I'd say 30s each year-ish, 30 home runs each.
We're talking Harper or Trout?
Harper. I don't know about Trout.
Harper's high was in 2015. He had 42.
There you go.
So which one can throw a helmet with a better accuracy?
That's
Harper.
a good point.
That's
No, actually,
question.
Actually,
It's
we
probably
have
Trout.
When he
Well,
tried.
Harper,
but that's what I'm saying. It's
Harper
one
threw
try
it
against
like-
nothing.
He threw it like 50 Cent through his ceremonial first pitch.
Yeah, that was brutal.
All sideways.
So I don't think we'll ever see Mike Trout flare up that much temper-wise.
You won't, and that's
Like-
what I'm saying. He's a safer. That's what I was getting at when I said he was safer in terms of your casual viewer just watching baseball and the highlights of baseball games. Can you name a single time that Trout's done anything where people be like, I can't believe that guy did that?
No, I can't. I mean, the only time you can say that is when he does something nice, and even then, you
I
find
can't
yourself
believe that guy
oversaying
did
it.
that.
I can't believe he just gave a kid a bat and a ball in the same time. Like, that's the only time you'll hear anybody say that with Trout in his name, I think.
All right, boys, what do you think? Should we wrap this one up for the night and get some?
More. I got one more.
Let's hear it.
A question from Twitter that asked, "What's life in the minor leagues like?"
Yes.
Next episode.
Yeah,
Whole episode on
I'm
baseball.
gonna try to blanket statement that because that could be talked about for a very long time.
That's a loaded question.
Very loaded question. You live in very low budget arrangements for as much time as you can, but with the silver lining of the fact that you're chasing a dream. Oftentimes you have more people sharing apartments than bedrooms. It's exactly that. It's the lowest budget lifestyle you can imagine, but with the most upside possible. So, like I said, I could go into a very, very detailed answer. We don't really have time for it. We appreciate the question. I unfortunately just can't properly answer it.
We'll go more into
you said,
lifestyle
that
stuff
could
as
be a
we
whole episode.
Yeah, that could be a podcast in itself.
Seriously.
Life on the farm.
Yeah.
That's good.
And one shout out to a guy by the name of Scotty Sunich, college baseball pitcher for Washington State, threw a no-no yesterday. And we at Comic Relievers absolutely love to see no-nos. So
love to see that.
Congratulations, man.
Three of four of us.
3 out of 4.
Oh, sorry. I forgot we had a guest. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry to break up that whole thing you got going.
Does it count as a guest if he's going to be here like 2 out of 3 shows a week? Does that?
It counts for this particular episode. I won't next episode, I'm not going to say, I don't like that pitcher did that because Porter swings a stick.
No nose is special. Shout out to that kid.
Yeah, that could have been your teammate. You could be a position player on that guy.
We can all appreciate that.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, guys. So like always, before we wrap it up, I just want to let you all know, if you haven't already, you should follow Comic Relievers on Twitter. That's at Comic Relievers, all one word. You'll be able to stay up to date on when we're going to drop new episodes. And more importantly, you'll be able to get in on asking us some of these questions that we'll talk about on the show. We appreciate you joining us. Guys, I appreciate you hopping on tonight. Always a pleasure. And we will be back for another one sometime this week. So stay tuned to Twitter, and I'll let you guys know when that's going to be dropping, and well hear some of your questions. All right.
Back to Breaking Bad.
Sounds good.
Enjoy your show,
Everyone
Joe.
tell Joe the ending. Hurry.
No.
It's
All
all right, boys.
You guys just give me the sign. I'll stop the broadcast.
We're good.
You're good. Go watch it.
Cool. You good?
Later.
Yeah, we're good.